Contrary to the prison-esque visible tattoo, I'm one of the good guys. I'm not a bad person. And the story is 100% true, although in true crime drama form, I've changed a name and a place to protect the marginally innocent. But the time was the summer of 1992. For me, that was the summer between high school and college. And the first Bush was in the White House, and Jesus Jones was on the radio. And Street Fighter 2 was in my Super Nintendo. And there was a knock on the door. And being home alone that morning, I answered the door, and it was a stranger with a mustache. And he introduced himself as a detective something or another. And I was genuinely thrilled, because I thought, like, this guy needs me to help him crack a case. And I was excited to do my civic duty. Like, what is it that you need from me? I'm happy to contribute in any way. And he introduced himself. He came in, and he asked me. He said, "What do you know about Donna from Voorhees?" And I had never been to Voorhees, and I didn't have any friends who were from Voorhees, so I was racking my brain. How could I know someone from Voorhees? Did I meet her at senior week? No. Could I have met her at college orientation? No. Well, she sounds dangerous. How would I have heard of her? Well, she claims that you raped her. You're as shocked as I was. So it was obviously, to me, a case of mistaken identity. I was beside myself, and I told him up and down that it wasn't me. I never met her. I don't know her, you know. And I guess he felt like that conversation wasn't going any further, so he left, and he left me there. And he dropped that bomb, and he left me in my home to kind of reflect upon how I was going to tell my parents and girlfriend and friends that, like, oh, since last time we spoke, I am the prime suspect in a rape case. And to just kind of reflect upon that even going to court on rape charges to me was potentially going to ruin my life. And just imagining like Donna from Voorhees' cousins and brothers like cramming into a van and coming to get me, you know, to kind of seek revenge and like forcibly castrate me. So there it was. And eventually he called and he stopped by some more times as detective, and some more details of the story kind of were shared with me. That it was the end of a blind date which I did not go on, and I had taken her in my green Toyota pickup truck, which I did not have, which was a manual transmission, which at the time I could not drive, back to my place, to the shed in my backyard, which we did not have, and I had my way with her. So it was at that time I decided that I was not going to sit by and become a victim. I'm not going to be victimized by this victim. I'm going to take an active role in clearing my good name. So it became like my part-time job that summer to drive around looking for green Toyota pickup trucks with manual transmissions parked in front of houses that had secluded sheds. And I, of course, ultimately came up empty-handed. Eventually, the detective contacted me again, and he asked me if I'd be willing to take a polygraph test. And I was thrilled to. I thought, you know, I certainly can't miss, I can't lose, and I can't fail. And if you've ever taken a polygraph test, which I hope and assume that the majority of you have not, there is an interrogation room and an interrogation light, like this, and an interrogator, and you are kind of wired and monitored for your breathing and for your pulse rate and for beats per minute. But the questions are not what you would imagine. They are attempting to try to measure truth, known truth, versus what could potentially be a lie. So the questions went something like, are you right-handed? Do you have a red house? Did you rape Donna from Voorhees? But eventually came out that the guy did some digging on her end, and it was a desperate plea and cry for attention. She found my photograph and name from a yearbook, and she made it all up. And of course, I was very angry. It's a weird thing being chosen from a yearbook as an imaginary rapist. Because on the one hand, I felt like maybe she finds me somewhat in a demented way attractive, but also like has kind of nominated me most likely to be like a sexual predator. And I was certainly slightly flattered, but very angry. Angry that she robbed me of so many nights' sleep. But she'd also given me a few things. She'd given me, I would say, 3 things. And I went off into adulthood, having already taken a polygraph test. Got that out of the way. I had perhaps gone off to college with the, I think, avoidance or goal to avoid yearbook staff photographers at my college. And I think most importantly, I entered into all, from that time forward until this day, newspaper articles and television news where there is an alleged victim and an alleged perpetrator with a very different perspective. Thank you.